Good afternoon, Faith family. Welcome back to God's Vision in Motion. I'm sure most of you who have heard that there was a shooting yesterday at Lakewood Church that is owned by Pastor Joel Osteen. Unfortunately, there were two victims. Obviously, one of the people that was shot and killed was the assailant, the person doing the shooting, and the other person was a little kid. I believe he was 5 or 7 years old, who was the person's 5 or 7 year old child. Now, the individual, based upon what we're hearing from reports, there's been a number of news outlets already kind of covering this particular subject, is that they showed up to the church with an AR rifle. Now, this individual is reportedly had a case of mental illness. They were a transsexual individual. The person looks like a woman, but it's really a man hailing from El Salvador. I don't know exactly how long they've been in the United States, but those are the reports that we are hearing. The innocent little boy, I believe that from my understanding, was used as a shield, and they had a gunshot wound or something to the head. And two individuals working security at Lakewood Church. One of them was a former ATF agent. I think the other one was an off-duty cop or something of some sort. This is a very tragic situation, and with I don't know if this person came over due to open borders or whatnot, but we do know things like this are likely to occur. Our border policies have been really laxed lately, and we have church gatherings. If you guys don't remember TD Jakes a few weeks. TD Jakes kind of talked about something like this a few weeks ago. He said some of the responsibilities that he has to deal with as a pastor is making sure somebody doesn't drive up to the church parking lot and blow up. And, I know a lot of us who are church goers typically don't see the other side of the coin of what can happen in a church. I mean, you figure you have a church gathering. Most of us who just go to church, we put our heads down to bow and pray. But these are some of the special assignments where ushers are on duty. Some of the hostesses and other people in security always need to be aware, making sure you're watching the parking lot and things of that nature. So before I get into the full story, I definitely want to say that this is definitely some trying times. We definitely want to make sure that we pray and uplift this local ministry, regardless of whatever your beliefs may be about Joel Osteen. But Christians and people, churches of gathering, should not be subject to gunfire. Places of worship should always be kept holy, sanctified, and away from things like that. This isn't, a war zone, and this should not happen. It's on any American soil. I know we have a lot of shootings at schools and whatnot. Not to say that any of that is okay. Those the places should be off limits from any type of gunfire or where people potentially could get shot. But at the same time, this is a church. This would happen on a Sunday morning service. These are things that we need to be cautious about, things we need to be aware about, and we definitely want to make sure that we uphold the families of Lakewood Church so that way they never go through something like this again, or any ministry in general, because this could have happened anywhere. But without further ado, let's play a little bit of a few clips from some of the videos. But also, too, a search warrant has been identified. They did identify the suspect as Janice Yvonne Moreno, 36, of Conroe. Remember, this person is a man, naturally born. Houston Police Commander Christopher Hassig said that there are some discrepancies in some of the reports that they've seen, including the individual using multiple aliases, including Jeffrey Escalante. It said the suspect had used both male and female names that through the investigation and documents. HPD stated that it will identify Moreno as a Hispanic female. The shooting was reported Sunday around 2 p.m. inside the lobby of the mega church located at the 3700 Southwest Freeway. And I believe this person had a history of mental illness, as well as also they've been arrested previously before based upon news reports that we've said. And then it says here that during the incident, officials said Moreno shot somebody. So I haven't seen any of that. I know that there was some gunfire or whatnot that's been reported. Seen a few reports, but I haven't seen anything about individuals being shot as a result of that, other than the assailant and then also the little boy. It says here an off-duty Houston Police Department officer and the Texas Alcohol Beverage Commission officer engaged with the suspect, according to the Houston Police Chief Troy Finner. The suspect reportedly told the officers that they had a bomb. So they also had some bomb-sniffing dogs and robotic dogs to look for bombs there on the campus or that facility. And again, this is not a war zone. This is a local church located here on USA soil in Texas. This should not happen at any church whatsoever. Nobody should go through anything like this. One of the officers said that they saw the suspect in possession of a yellow in-color rope and substances consistent with the manufacture of explosive devices, which appeared to be a detonation cord. Investigators have not been able to determine whether Moreno's threat of having a bomb was credible. So, Joel Osteen did speak out. We're going to go ahead and follow up on that, but let's play a couple of videos here kind of detailing what transpired there.
New information about the transgender woman police say opened fire at Lakewood Church.
Houston police have identified that shooter, pictured here as 36-year-old Janice Moreno, in a search warrant. She was ultimately shot and killed by police, and according to NBC News, she was carrying an assault-style type rifle with the word Palestine written across it. Officials are investigating a wide range of possible motives as the investigation continues.
This is believed to be the home of the shooter. She lived here in this small, quiet neighborhood in Conroe, more than an hour away from Lakewood Church, where police say she opened fire. The FBI, Conroe Police, Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, Houston Police Department, and Texas Rangers were here for hours overnight. Investigators walking out of the home carrying boxes before they left. Church leaders say they had just wrapped up a service and were about to start their Spanish service when the shooting happened at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Police say the woman in her early to mid-30s walked into the church with a rifle, wearing a trench coat and holding her 5-year-old son. They say she opened fire. An off-duty HPD officer and TABC agent working security returned fire. The 5-year-old was shot in the head and a 56-year-old man in the leg, though it remains unclear if those victims were shot by officers or the suspect. Investigators say before the shooter died, she reportedly said she had explosives in her car, but nothing was ever found. The motive remains unclear. However, Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo is calling for investigators to look into if this was a hate crime, since the Spanish service was set to start before the shooting happened.
I don't want to talk about her motivations because I don't know, right, and we may never know the full story. But the important message is we're going to stand together as a city. We're going to stand with this church today and the pastor to make sure that healing begins immediately.
According to the search warrant, investigators say they went to the home in Conroe looking for ammunition, firearms, explosives, and personal computers, among other items. And the officers involved, the HPD officer is 28 years old with 2 years of service, and the TABC agent is 38 years old with 4 years of service. Neither were hurt. Both are on administrative leave pending the outcome of that investigation.
First off, thank Chief and the mayor and Chief Pena and all of these men and women did an amazing job. And it's just, you said it, Chief, it could have been a lot worse. Of course, we're devastated. I mean, we've been here 65 years and have somebody shooting in your church. But, we don't understand why these things happen, but we know God's in control. And we're going to pray for that little 5-year-old boy and pray for the lady that was deceased, her family and all, and the other gentleman. But I don't know, it's just kind of in a fog, but, just believe that, we're going to stay strong. We're going to continue to move forward. And there are forces of evil, but the forces that are for us, the forces of God are stronger than that. Yes. So we're going to keep going strong and just, doing what God's called us to do, lift people up and give hope to the world. Again, I want to thank all these gentlemen because, I can only imagine if it would have happened during the 11 o'clock service. We were in between services going into the Spanish service. So, if there's anything good of it, you know what? She didn't get in there and do a whole lot worse damage. So we thank God for that. He's watching over all of us, and as the chief says, we're going to keep going strong and bringing hope to the world. But thank you again, gentlemen.
Thank you, Pastor.
So as you guys have just heard the words from Pastor Joel Osteen there from Houston, Texas. Again, this is a very tragic situation. And, I definitely agree with what he's saying. I'm glad that the situation was handled promptly, that because it could have gotten, much, much worse. And so you figure with 40 something thousand people in attendance, you don't know how much ammo this person would have been carrying on them at this particular time. This is just something that we really just have to face the facts and just be aware of when we're attending service. Like typically we as a church going family would attend church. You put on your Sunday's best, you attend church, you have your mindset on worshiping the Lord. You go to service and you don't expect somebody to come in there and just start shooting. And, somebody pointed out in several other articles, this is becoming very redundant, where we're seeing people who have been of the transgender persuasion either shooting up a church or shooting up a school. And it's becoming very alarming that this mental health crisis and whatnot is becoming a trend, but now it's affecting the house of the Lord. But, stuff like this definitely should not happen. But again, a lot of churches, they go through these kind of things where they have special security in place. You have to make sure, you're familiar with all of your whereabouts, and not just church security, but just parents and even young kids, just, in general. Typically going to a ministry is a place where everybody is, I would say everybody is pretty much friendly. But again, you don't know everybody's hidden motive. I mean, maybe somebody could be there to receive Christ, but somebody could have false intentions, just like this particular individual. When we go to church, most of us, we don't assume everybody is saved, but we make sure we present an atmosphere where anybody can receive Christ if they have not had the opportunity to do so. But you will have bad actors like this particular individual that will always raise the alarm and always keep us aware that we need to be on our toes and be in our surroundings, because things like this just shouldn't happen. You go to church to have the best mindset in mind for people, but we have to be alert and be aware of bad actors. And I know that some of the previous churches that I've been to, they've been aware of things like this, people coming in with large bags and, maybe they look like they're carrying something, but those are typically the duties of being an usher or working campus security or church security at a facility. But again, I definitely agree with Joel Osteen that this was handled the way that it could have been, because it could have been a lot worse. I'm glad other innocent kids or people weren't taken hostage, but it definitely raised the alarm and raises our flags that we just definitely need to be on our P's and Q's when we're attending church. I want to play some more evidence for all of you, so let's go ahead and listen into what some of the other police officers had to say in regards to this. Make sure you check out Fox 26 in Houston. They have more of the updated information. A lot of this is slowly starting to roll out. I wanted to make a video about this yesterday, but I wanted to make sure that I got some more information. But, again, as Christians, we can't be naive. We have to be alert at all times, and especially for those of you who could be ministers of the gospel, even if you don't have a following, even if somebody recognizes you from social media and you're just, let's say, out at a restaurant someplace or just out enjoying with your friends and family members, you just have to be aware of your surroundings, because things like this are going on in the world today. So let's go ahead and play another clip from these officers from Fox 26.
Side of the building off of Timmons. She gets out of her white vehicle. She opens the door, pulls out the 7-year-old child out of the back seat, as well as a bag that is with her. She goes, she confronts a security guard who lets her in along the west side of the building. At 1:55 p.m., she immediately starts firing inside of the hallway on the west side of Lakewood Church. She's in the hall, not in the sanctuary. Multiple rounds are fired by her, at which point Officer Moreno of the Houston Police Department working an approved extra job at the location, as well as TABC agent Herrera, returned fire, and the exchange is all there on the west side of the building, in the hallway. Multiple shots are exchanged by all three. She eventually falls to the ground. The 7-year-old child falls to the ground as well from gunfire, one gunshot wound to the head. Like has been mentioned earlier today, he is in critical condition at this time. And at 2:07 p.m., she is pronounced deceased by Houston Fire Department personnel. Other things that we know at this point in regards to the investigation. Our shooter is identified by driver's license as Genesee Moreno, 36 years old, Hispanic female. There are some discrepancies. We do have reports. What she utilized to fire at the officers. There was a sticker on the buttstock of the rifle that stated Palestine. A sticker simply stated Palestine. Also within the possession of near her, what she brought in, according to the video, and she had in a bag, was a .22 caliber rifle by Blue Line Solutions. She had that, she brought that in, she did not fire that weapon. We do have her vehicle, we are in possession of that. We will be processing that and see if there is more evidence. We want to thank our federal and state partners for their assistance. She does have a mental health history that is documented through us and through interviews with family members. And we do want to state that through our investigation, I mentioned anti-Semitic writing. We do believe that there was a familial dispute that has taken place between her ex-husband and her ex-husband's family, and some of those individuals are Jewish. So we believe that might possibly be where all of this stems from. We ask anybody with information to please call.
You know, and what's going on, what's basically going on too, you know, there's a lot of people leaving disparaging comments, and, you know, regardless of what you think of a particular pastor or church, this shouldn't happen at all. This is definitely not the love of the Lord if you're disparaging a minister or a person based upon them being almost in the middle of gunfire. I mean, we understand what's going on. This shouldn't happen. This is not a time to be thankful or happy or glad that somebody is, you know, shooting in a place where you have a disagreement, you know, based on spiritual principles of a particular ministry. And so, you know, again, I just wanted to make this quick video for everybody, acknowledging, letting you guys know what's going on with this particular situation. I'll probably do a follow-up when we have more information and things to talk about. But, you know, based upon what I see here, this could be pretty much considered a terrorist act. Looks like the individual has suffered from some type of mental health, but you know, they're dead now. The two gentlemen killed the person, and we have a 5-year-old who's fighting for their life. And they didn't have to be caught up in the middle of any of this, but based upon the whole Free Palestinian thing, and looks like their family members or ex-husband or something of that sort was Jewish. This definitely could be easily considered as a hate crime. But, you know, for now, we thank you guys for watching. Please make sure, if you guys want to make sure you want to understand or receive a gospel knowledge, word of faith Bible study, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. You're also free to share any of our videos. Evangelist Willie Smith and his wife will be back pretty soon. And we have some more interesting topics to cover. But let's make sure we spread the love and the peace Make sure if you haven't had the opportunity to receive Jesus Christ or accept Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, he did die on the cross for your sins, and all you have to do is confess him to come into your life, and you will be saved regardless of what situation you're living in your life. So with that being said, you guys take care and have a great night. We will catch you later.